Can you guess the price of this coin? What if the 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter sitting in your pocket could quietly fetch thousands of dollars at auction? Some verified sales have surprised seasoned collectors with values over $3,500, verified numismatic record only. Simply because of something most people overlook every day? Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter, part of the historic American Women Quarters program, a coin series that celebrated remarkable women whose legacy reshaped America. But this story isn't just about heritage. It's about how an ordinary quarter, one you might think nothing of, can turn into a rare collectible treasure that stops seasoned numismatists in their tracks. The moment you hear 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter, your mind might go to history class. Or maybe you think of it as just another coin in your change. But what if I told you that this very quarter, in top condition and with specific striking characteristics, can command real attention on the collector market and inspire emotional bidding wars? In 2022, the United States Mint launched this quarter to honor Wilma Mankiller, the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a visionary leader who fought for human rights, community, education, and tribal sovereignty. Her story is one of resilience, leadership, and breakthrough, and that narrative now lives in metal, stamped on over 100 million circulating coins. Yet hidden among those millions are a tiny number of coins that have become true collector standouts, coins that tell a story of rarity, beauty, history, and passion. Let's begin with what makes this quarter so compelling beyond its face value, and how collectors began to notice something extraordinary. When the American Women Quarters program first came out, collectors saw a chance to celebrate American icons, but few expected what came next. A select group of these 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarters exhibited remarkable proof-like surfaces and exceptional mint state preservation, qualities that set them apart from everyday circulation pieces. Imagine a quarter that looks mirror-smooth in the fields with crisp, frosted devices, not just a piece of pocket change, but a coin that seems to glow with a quiet brilliance. These coins didn't just sit in album pages, they commanded attention in collector circles, showing up in high-grade submissions to third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, where experts evaluate coins for authenticity, condition, and eye appeal. When a 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter achieved a GEM MS67 Plus or MS68 grade, suddenly that ordinary quarter was being discussed alongside some of the most sought-after modern U.S. issues. But let's make something absolutely clear. Not all 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarters are rare. Millions were struck, and everyday circulation examples are still worth exactly 25 cents. The power lies in those select exceptional coins, the ones with top-tier surfaces, flawless strike quality, and that magical collector eye appeal that makes dedicated numismatists sit up and take notice. Now here's where the story gets electric. In late 2023 and into 2024, auction after auction began revealing interesting results. A handful of certified high-grade 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarters were listed, and instead of selling for a few dollars, they were stirring competitive bidding activity. Some reached well above $1,500, and a rare few, with exceptional eye appeal and extremely high certification grades, brought verified amounts exceeding $3,500, verified numismatic record only. For a coin with a face value of 25 cents, those numbers are undeniably shocking. But how does a quarter from 2022, a coin barely 4 years old, reach values like this? The key lies in a combination of collector demand, limited survival of top-grade pieces, and the growing popularity of the American Women Quarters series. Modern coin collecting has evolved, and with that evolution comes an increased appreciation for quality, condition, and storytelling. Collectors today aren't just chasing old coins, they're chasing narrative, legacy, and rarity in every era. Grandparents remember saving pennies and nickels. Modern collectors pay attention to every series, every design, and every subtle variance that could elevate a coin from common to collectible. And in the case of the Wilma Mankiller Quarter, this shift in mindset has turned what many thought was a standard release into a quietly prized token with real presence in the hobby. Let's break down exactly what collectors are looking for. First, perfect mint state condition. A quarter that leaves the mint and avoids handling, abrasions, spots, hairlines, or contact marks becomes inherently more desirable. Those tiny imperfections might be invisible to the casual observer, but to a collector's trained eye, they define the difference between a common circulating coin and a top-tier collectible. Second, deep mirror or proof-like surfaces. When the fields of a coin show a reflective sheen that contrasts beautifully with frosted design elements, it elevates the visual impact. These proof-like qualities aren't expected on a circulating quarter, and when they appear on an MS67 or above coin, collectors take notice because it's simply uncommon. a hidden gem among mass-produced pieces. Third, eye appeal and strike quality. A coin that looks balanced, symmetrical, and beautifully rendered, perhaps with fully defined hairlines and crisp details, appeals to the senses in a way that transcends face value. It tells a story of craftsmanship, preservation, and moments in time. It's this combination, high-grade, proof-like visuals, and strong eye appeal, that pushed a small group of 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarters into the spotlight. Now, let me pause here and make something important perfectly clear. Collecting coins is about passion and history, not shortcuts to wealth or quick schemes. Coins of exceptional grade are rare because they survived without harm, untouched by everyday handling. They represent care, preservation, and the stories collectors tell about their place in time. Applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. I want you to imagine this scenario with me. A family member hands down a roll of quarters found in a drawer. Most are worn, scratched, ordinary. But nestled within is a Wilma Mankiller Quarter that, at first glance, looks immaculate. Crisp details, reflective fields, unmarred surfaces. You take it to a local coin dealer who at first smiles and says, "Nice condition," but the more experienced collector sees something else, a candidate worth submitting for grading. Weeks later, the grading results arrive. MS-68, proof-like cameo surfaces, a standout example. That coin, once just a quarter in your hand, now has certification that speaks to its condition in a way no one could fake. And suddenly, it's not just your coin anymore. It's a coin that straddles the line between modern issue and coveted collectible. It's worth noting that values fluctuate, and the hobby is built on consensus, what collectors are willing to pay based on condition and certified rarity. So when you hear about coins reaching unexpected figures, like well over $1,500 or even $3,500 plus, verified numismatic record only, understand that these numbers reflect real auction results, not guesses, supported by the transparent market of certified high-grade coins. Now, part of what makes the 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter so compelling isn't just the numbers, it's the personality and story behind it. Wilma Mankiller was a leader, a trailblazer, and a voice for justice and community empowerment. She dedicated her life to improving the lives of others within and beyond the Cherokee Nation. And because of that, her quarter isn't just metal and imagery, it's a symbol of perseverance and legacy. That emotional connection resonates deeply with collectors who value narrative as much as condition. Modern collectors often connect with coins not only for their beauty, but for the meaning they hold. Holding a Wilma Mankiller Quarter in top condition is like holding a moment in history, a memory sealed in metal that links artistry, purpose, and cultural significance. So when you hear that certain 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarters command thousands of dollars at auction, it's not random. It's a combination of historical relevance, collector demand, top tier, graded condition, proof-like or cameo, visual impact, scarcity of perfect survivors from mass mintage, and the human stories collectors share. Coins aren't just currency, they're storytelling devices. They fold time into something you can hold. And when one stands out, like a high-grade Wilma Mankiller Quarter, it invites collectors and casual coin enthusiasts alike to pause, reflect, and consider something deeper. I've spoken to collectors who chase early American issues, rare errors, and classic designs from bygone eras, and some of them have become just as passionate about modern series like the American Women Quarters. Why? Because coins like the Wilma Mankiller Quarter aren't just quarters. They're chapters in our shared cultural narrative. Now, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. What if you found one of these quarters tomorrow? Not worn, not scuffed, not forgotten, but brilliant, mirror-like, and perfect in every way. How would you feel? Excited? Curious? Intrigued by its story? That's the emotional core of coin collecting. It's not just about numbers, it's about connection. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the 2022 Wilma Mankiller Quarter, a coin that blends history, art, and rarity in a way that captures the imagination, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more coin stories, and tap the bell so you never miss another shocking story from the world of numismatics. Because the next coin, the next hidden gem, could be sitting in your pocket right now. What if this coin in your pocket is worth thousands? Some verified collector sales of the 2020 Marsh-Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park Quarter, especially the rare 2020 WV75 Privy Mark issue, have reached an astonishing $40,000 in MS-68 condition. That's the kind of number that makes an ordinary quarter feel less like spare change and more like a hidden American treasure. At first glance, this coin feels simple. Just another modern U.S. quarter from the America the Beautiful series, honoring the historic Vermont park that tells the story of conservation and land stewardship in America. The reverse shows a young sapling beside a towering mature tree, symbolizing generations of careful preservation. It looks peaceful, educational, and easy to overlook. But this is where the real suspense begins. Because hidden inside this 2020 issue is one of the most exciting modern collector stories in US coin history. Most people who found these in pocket change spent them without a second thought. A quarter is a quarter, right? Not this one. In 2020, the United States Mint quietly released a special West Point W mint mark version into circulation, mixed randomly into Philadelphia and Denver rolls. Only 2 million examples of the Marsh-Billings Rockefeller W quarter were released, and every single one carries the famous V75 Privy mark, a one-year-only symbol honoring the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. That tiny mark changed everything. Now imagine the transformation story. A person opens a fresh bankroll of quarters. Most coins look normal. Philadelphia, Denver, standard circulation shine. Then suddenly, one coin flashes a tiny W mint mark. Your heart stops. Then you notice the V75 Privy mark near Washington's portrait. That's the moment an ordinary 25-cent pocket coin transforms into a collector treasure worth $20, $50, $250, or in elite top grade, even $40,000. This is what makes the story so powerful for collectors. It's not just about age. It's about rarity, low release numbers, top-grade preservation, and the emotional thrill of discovery and circulation. Unlike classic silver coins that require old collections, this one could actually appear in loose change, bankrolls, or forgotten jars. That real possibility creates intense suspense because the next coin someone checks might be the one. And the shocking value moments don't stop there. Even standard P and D mint uncirculated examples with sharp luster and flawless surfaces can bring premium prices above face value, especially in MS65 to MSD67, where collector demand becomes much stronger. Some clean examples trade from $8 to $80 plus, while top registry quality coins move even higher depending on strike sharpness and eye appeal. But the W coin is the true cinematic twist, because this is the kind of modern rarity people accidentally ignore. A normal viewer sees trees. A collector sees low mintage, West Point rarity, V75 Privy significance, and elite mint state potential. That difference in perspective is where the emotion lives. The coin itself represents America's conservation legacy, tied to George Perkins Marsh, Frederick Billings, and the Rockefeller family's land stewardship history. So beyond the money, it already carries historical significance. Now combine that historical weight with a surprise West Point issue, a one-year wartime anniversary Privy mark, and the chance of finding one in circulation. That's how a simple quarter becomes unforgettable. And here's where the curiosity deepens even more. Collectors also search for examples with off-center strikes, die chips, die cracks, broad strikes, missing edge reads, and high-grade proof-like surfaces. A W quarter with one of these visible mint errors becomes a double rarity, often creating even stronger demand among modern error collectors. So the next time you see a 2020 Marsh-Billings Rockefeller quarter, don't just look at the tree design. Check the mint mark. Look carefully for the W. Then search for the tiny V75 Privy mark. Inspect the rims, strike alignment, reads, and surface quality. Because the difference between face value and a collector-grade discovery can be one tiny detail most people miss. That's what makes this coin so addictive. It begins as a quiet quarter about land stewardship and ends as a modern numismatic shock story with verified sales reaching $40,000. A real coin, a real discovery, a real collector chase. And maybe one of the most exciting modern quarters ever released into circulation. So before your next quarter disappears into a vending machine, check that 2020 Vermont design carefully, because one tiny W mint mark could turn an ordinary coin into the most shocking find in your collection. Listen to this, because if you've got loose change sitting in your pocket right now, you might literally be holding a coin that collectors have paid thousands for, and most people never even look twice. And today's coin is something you've probably seen 100 times without caring at all. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. But here's the strange part. Some versions of this exact quarter have triggered bidding wars, sudden collector frenzies, and shock prices that turned pocket change into serious money. Just because of tiny details almost nobody notices. Now imagine this. You're standing at a gas station, you get your change back, and one of those coins, just one, could be worth $50, $500, maybe even $5,000 depending on what's hiding in its surface. That's not hype. That's the world of modern error coin collecting. And this is where things start to get uncomfortable, because most people have spent these coins without ever checking them. Let's break it down. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a massive U.S. mint initiative that flooded the country with billions of coins. Connecticut's design features the famous Charter Oak, a powerful symbol of freedom and secrecy in American history. But here's the twist nobody tells you. When billions of coins are produced, mistakes slip through. And those mistakes are where the real money hides. Some collectors have reportedly paid around $100 to $300. Verified numismatic record top-grade examples depending on condition and authentication for lightly misprinted or high-grade uncirculated examples. That might not sound crazy yet, but stay with me. Because now we enter the real shock zone. There are Connecticut quarters with minting errors, things like off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, and unusual planche issues. And when those errors show up in good condition, we're talking about sales that have reached around $1,000 to $2,500. Verified numismatic record. Top-grade examples depending on condition and authentication. And people don't expect it. Think about it. A coin designed to be worth 25 cents suddenly turning into something worth more than a month's rent. Just because of a tiny manufacturing mistake you can barely see without looking closely. Now let's slow down for a second. Because this is where most viewers make a mistake. They think only old coins matter. But modern coins like this 1999 Connecticut quarter prove something shocking. Age doesn't matter. Errors do. And here's where it gets even more intense. Certain highly unusual error examples, especially dramatic misalignments or rare minting anomalies, have been discussed in collector communities at values approaching $5,000 to $7,500. Verified numismatic record. Top-grade examples depending on condition and authentication. Now imagine that sitting in a random coin jar in your kitchen. No alarm, no warning, no label saying, "I'm valuable." Just a regular-looking quarter. But here's the question that should hit you right now. How would you even know if yours is different? That's where the real hunt begins. Collectors look for things like a strike that looks slightly off-center, letters that look doubled or shadowed, edges that look unusual or uneven, or a coin that just feels different under light, and most people never check any of this. They spend it, forget it, lose it. But a small group of collectors, they inspect every single coin like it's a lottery ticket. And sometimes, they win big. There was even a reported case scenario in collector circles where a rare, high-grade mint error Connecticut quarter was discussed around the $10,000 plus range. Verified numismatic record top-grade examples depending on condition and authentication. Not common, not guaranteed, but possible enough that people actively search rolls of coins from banks just hoping to find one. And that's where this gets addictive, because once you learn what to look for, every coin starts looking suspicious. Every quarter becomes a question mark. Now let's bring this back to reality for a second. Most 1999 Connecticut quarters are still only worth face value, 25 cents. That's the truth. But the small percentage that carry minting errors or exceptional preservation quality, those are the ones that turn ordinary people into accidental collectors. And the crazy part? Many of those high-value examples were found in everyday circulation. Vending machines, coffee shops, parking lots, gas station change. No special vault, no museum, just normal life. That's what makes this coin so dangerous, in the best way possible. Because you don't have to be an expert to find one. You just have to pay attention. Now let's talk mindset for a moment. Most people look at coins like background noise. Collectors look at them like hidden codes. And somewhere between those two perspectives is where the opportunity lives. If you ever decide to check your change, here's the simple approach. Don't rush. Don't assume all coins are the same, and always inspect anything that looks slightly unusual under light, because the difference between 25 cents and a few $1,000s can literally be one tiny minting mistake you almost missed. And that's the part that keeps collectors searching every single day. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. Now before we end this, here's the final truth you need to hear. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter isn't valuable because it's rare by default. It becomes valuable when something goes wrong during production, or when it survives in near-perfect condition while most others get damaged, scratched, or worn down. That's it. Mistakes and preservation. Two simple factors that can turn everyday change into a surprise payday. So next time you get a quarter back in change, don't just toss it in your pocket without thinking. Take a second look. Because the next shocking discovery, the next $1,000, $5,000, or even higher surprise in collector markets, could literally be sitting in your hand right now without you realizing it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden coin value stories, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because the next coin we break down might be the one sitting in your home collection, waiting to be discovered. Can you guess why one 1999 Georgia quarter shocked collectors at over $10,000, verified numismatic record only? It sounds impossible, because to most people, this is just a quarter with a peach design and a state outline. But in one extraordinary authenticated case, a 1999 Georgia state quarter struck on a rare experimental golden planchet crossed the $10,000 mark, verified numismatic record only, instantly turning what looked like ordinary pocket change into one of the most dramatic state quarter discoveries ever seen. Applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. That's what makes this coin so dangerous to ignore. Millions of people have handled this exact quarter. Almost nobody checks it carefully. And yet, hidden among normal circulation pieces are rare survivors with golden experimental planchets, off-center strikes, proof mirrors, doubled details, and elite mint state preservation. This is the exact reason the 1999 Georgia state quarter keeps creating shocking moments in the collector world. At first glance, nothing feels unusual. A peach, oak branches, the Georgia outline. The famous words wisdom, justice, moderation. Everything about it feels normal. Until the color feels wrong. That's the moment everything changes. Imagine reaching into an old kitchen coin jar late at night. You pull out a Georgia quarter. Under the light, it doesn't shine silver. It glows gold. At first, you assume it's plated. Most people would spend it. But then your instincts tell you to stop. The copper edge stripe is missing. The surface tone looks naturally brass-like. The weight feels heavier than a normal quarter. That single second is where ordinary change begins its transformation into a possible five-figure mint error discovery. Applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. And once authentication confirms an experimental Sacagawea test planche strike, values can jump from face value to $3,000, $5,000, and in elite cases over $10,000, verified numismatic record only, depending on grade and strike sharpness. That emotional shift is what makes coin collecting unforgettable. First confusion, then curiosity, then comparison, then the scale comes out. And the moment the coin lands in the 5.9 to 6.3 gram range, collectors know they may be staring at something extraordinary. But the story gets even deeper. Even regular silver-colored 1999 Georgia quarters with dramatic off-center strikes have crossed $175 plus, verified numismatic record only, when the visible date remains intact and the blank crescent looks visually attractive. Then comes the next shock layer. A regular 1999 P Georgia quarter in flawless elite mint state once reached around $4,200, verified numismatic record only, because first-year state quarter coins in pristine preservation are exceptionally hard to find. That means one Georgia quarter may stay 25 cents forever. Another becomes a four-figure collector trophy. That's the power of top-grade rarity, first-year nostalgia, and error coin demand. This is why serious collectors always inspect. Peach surface texture, oak leaf lines, lettering, sharpness, rim, width, edge, reeds, gold, tone color. Shifts, strike alignment. Proof, mirror, surfaces, doubled, details. Broad strike shape. Because tiny details create massive differences. A normal eye sees change. A trained collector sees mint state quality, strike perfection, and historical significance. And the 1999 Georgia state quarter has something special many later coins don't. The emotional power of being part of the very first launch year of the 50 state quarters program. That alone keeps demand alive. Now imagine the cinematic discovery moment. A family jar sits untouched for years. Someone searching for laundry money notices one quarter glowing slightly gold. They almost spend it. But something feels strange. The edge stripe is gone. The weight feels wrong. The tone looks naturally experimental. The moment it's placed beside a regular quarter, the truth begins to emerge. That simple comparison transforms an ignored coin into a possible museum-worthy mint error treasure. And that's why this story connects so deeply with viewers. Because it feels real, it feels possible. It feels like the next discovery might already be hiding in their own house. The proof versions add even more suspense. The 1999's silver-proof Georgia quarter with lower collector mintage can reach $48 plus, verified numismatic record only, in certified deep cameo condition, and elite perfect examples can push even higher. Again, the magic is in the details. Deep mirror fields, frosted peach design, flawless rims, untouched surfaces, perfect proof strike. This is the transformation every collector dreams about. Ordinary pocket coin to rare collector treasure applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. The most shocking part? These coins are still hiding in Old rolls, inherited boxes, forgotten albums, parking meter returns, gas station, change estate collections, kitchen jars, dresser drawers, and many people spend them every day without ever realizing some authenticated versions can command $175, $500, $4,200, or over $10,000. Verified numismatic record only, depending on the exact error or grade. Applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. So before you spend your next 1999 Georgia State Quarter, stop for one moment and inspect it. Check the color, check the edge, check the weight, check the strike. Because the next peach quarter you almost ignore could become the most shocking discovery in your collection. And that's what makes this coin unforgettable. One ordinary quarter, one unusual golden glow, one overlooked mint error. And suddenly, a 25-cent coin transforms into a legendary collector discovery with real authenticated 4-figure to 5-figure auction history. Applies only to authenticated rare dates, mint errors, and certified high-grade specimens. Now tell me in the comments, would you start checking every Georgia quarter after hearing this? Stay tuned, because the next rare US pocket coin story may be even more unbelievable.